It's important not to forget to report on proven lies from this administration, even when the story has left the headlines. And case in point, we now have a declassified internal White House memo about that assassination of the Iranian Quds leader Qassim Soleimani, which the memo now confirms that the imminent threat posed by Soleimani was not actually part of the justification that the White House internally was discussing for his assassination, something we suspected at the time. He was not a threat imminently to the United States or U.S. interests. And initially, they changed the justifications, but initially, that was the primary justification that the White House gave. Now, remember that the explanations shifted. First, it was Soleimani was an imminent threat. He was planning to do all sorts of violence, attack U.S. embassies, all sorts of stuff. When it started to become very clear that that wasn't true, they shifted to, well, this is because of the things that Soleimani did in the past. And hilariously, at one point, Trump and his Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, were not even on the same page. Trump was repeating that it was because of the imminent threat, while Pompeo had already shifted to saying it's because of what he did in the past. Then Trump ended up tweeting, well, it doesn't even really matter why I did it, saying, quote, the fake news media and their Democrat partners are working hard to determine whether or not the future attack by terrorist Soleimani was imminent or not, and was my team in agreement? The answer to both is a strong yes, but it doesn't really matter because of his horrible past. Well, we now have the memo from the White House just to kind of close this story out. An imminent threat is nowhere in there. It's another bogus, dishonest talking point, debunked ultimately by their own documents. The only thing the memo says is that this was a response to escalating attacks in prior months by Iran and Iran-backed militias. The attack was meant to serve as a sort of scare-off deterrent to future attacks. And it simply then goes into the legal justification for why Donald Trump was legally enabled and able to do this attack. There was nothing there about imminent threat. There's nothing there about the imminence claim that they claim existed. Now, I know it's been weeks. People have already forgotten about this, but it's important to document the lies. And we now have another one confirmed. And in a sense, we already had it confirmed. Mike Pompeo very quickly shifted from imminent threat to repercussions for past actions. Reminder of one of Pompeo's being slippery on this at the time.
We needed to strike to make sure that this imminent attack that he was working actively was disrupted.
A specific target overseas?
I'm not going to say anything more about the nature of the attack, but know that this was not just in Iraq. It was throughout the region. It was using these proxy forces that he has manipulated for so long to bring so much destruction to the Shias and Sunnis, the Muslims throughout the region. This is a man who inflicted enormous harm not only on American lives, but created terribly destructive activities supporting Lebanese Hezbollah, Hamas, the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, all of the bad actors in the Middle East. Qassim Soleimani was at the center of all of it.
Was there any imminent threat to the U.S. homeland?
These were threats that were located in the region.
Right. I mean, I guess maybe some threat in that region, not to the U.S. And anyway, it was punishment for bad things he previously did, as they later went on to say, and Trump insisting he can do it either way, no matter what. Then Pompeo went on Fox News and said, well, probably there was some threat. We just didn't know when or where it would ultimately manifest. And then it went back to, well, no, it was actually punishment for Qassim Soleimani's past bad deeds. It was a completely incoherent, shifting rationale from the start. We knew they were lying, and now the declassified White House memo confirms this. Not that anybody on Trump's side is going to care, but important to do the work and to keep up with debunking these lies. And there are many of them, and they come fast and furious. Do you feel like you just don't have enough time to become as intellectually well-rounded as you would like to be, that there are just not enough hours in your week for you to read all of the books that you want to read? One of our sponsors is called Blinkist, and it's an app that lets you consume an entire nonfiction book in 15 minutes. It's only about $8 a month, but you can try it for free for a week and get 25% off a subscription when you go to Blinkist.com/Pakman. What Blinkist does is take thousands of popular nonfiction books and condense them into either text or audio that you can read or listen to in just 15 minutes. And what you get is all of the most important ideas and information from the book. Imagine being able to listen to an entire nonfiction book in the amount of time it takes you to drive or walk home from work. I just finished listening to Catch and Kill by Ronan Farrow. Super interesting book, probably already familiar to some in my audience, and a really interesting take at how Harvey Weinstein and his alleged transgressions were brought to light. Excellent investigative piece. Blinkist has totally transformed how I consume information. I love it. Of course, I read a book in its entirety when I can, but there are simply just so many books that I want to read and would not have the time for if it weren't for Blinkist. They have books on politics, economics, philosophy, science, you name it. You can try it out yourself, totally free for a week, and get 25% off if you decide to subscribe just by going to Blinkist.com/Pakman. I've put the link right underneath this video. Like the rest of us, I bet you're going into 2020 thinking about what you didn't get around to in 2019 and your goals for the new year. If you want to work towards being your best self in 2020, understand more about the world around you, and make sure that your time is well spent, then Blinkist is for you.